Yo, welcome back to my cottage. Today we're going to be talking about someone that I've been wanting to talk about for a long while, but I didn't do research and I was kind of too lazy to do a video on them. But here we are now, a bucket full of research and someone who is ready to talk about all this. We're going to be talking about Vivziepop. But before we begin, I didn't add these warnings at the beginning of my two other videos, which I feel like I should have added, but apparently I was too lazy to. So the warnings on screen right now are the sensitive topics that are going to be in this video. If you are uncomfortable with any of these, please click off the video and watch one of my more wholesome videos. Now, everybody, including my grandmother, knows who Vivziepop is, but some of you don't know who she is. Vivziepop is the creator of shows like Hazbin Hotel and Helluva, but she is also the creator of the webcomic Zootopia. And for my Good Mythical Morning fans out there, she also animated the music video for the Five Nights at Freddy's song that Good Mythical Morning and Markiplier made together. Now, I'm going to be really honest here. I actually really like Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss. Currently, in my bedroom, I have a Fizzerolli plushie and a Husk plushie. I also own a Husker Dust shirt that my grandma bought for me. But despite the very clean animation and fantastic songs, Vivziepop is far from being the least controversial person on the internet. If you like drama or you just are in the arts community in general, you probably heard all about Vivziepop, with allegations that she underpays her animators, has drawn fan art of very controversial people, and more that we're going to begin into in this video. Vivz is no stranger to hate. So let's talk about the two main big ones that I've been seeing over the internet over the last few months. First, we're going to be talking about the artist Ken Draws Art. Now, if this name sounds familiar to you in any way, that is because this person knows Vivz. Before the Hazbin Hotel pilot released on YouTube, Vivziepop and Ken got into a Discord chat and started talking about writing. Now, Vivziepop admits that she is not a good writer. And there are many Discord screenshots of Ken basically writing a lot of the scenes for Hazbin. Now, I only have the one screenshot, but there's a video I found, which I will be linking in the description, that basically reads over all the DMs and everything. But the short version is that Vivz got help from Ken, and Ken got no credit. That's right, Ken did not get any credit for writing, and Ken did not get any credit for character design. The image on screen now is Cherry Bomb's design that Ken drew. They made it for Vivz, and Vivz did like it. So much so that she decided to trace the drawing, pose, design, everything, and said that she would only give credit to Ken for the pose. So Cherry's new modern design was actually made by Ken. And to be honest, I like Ken's drawing way more than Vivz's. Don't get me wrong, I love the art style of Hazbin Hotel, but something about Ken's drawing of Cherry, I like more. I really can't explain it. Maybe it's just how the shading is or whatever, but tell me which one you prefer in the comments. Also, there's a lot of stuff saying that Sir Pinch's design was actually based off of Ken's OC, but, I mean, that one really isn't stealing in my opinion, it's just basing something off of something else. It's not the exact same design, it's just the third eye. But later on, Vivz started saying that Ken was threatening and harassing her because they weren't receiving any credit on the show. Which isn't true at all. If anything, Ken had the right to be a little upset. They wrote for the pilot without being paid, first of all, and even redesigned your own character for you. And what do? You don't give credit of any kind. Vivziepop was and still is a big artist, and at the time, Ken was still a smaller artist, so this rubbed people the wrong way. And apparently, this isn't the first time that Vivzy has used somebody's art without their permission before. Some people are saying that the official Helluva Boss pins look like pre-existing fan art. If this is the case, then that's just messed up, Vibs. So before we get into the big controversy that I've been seeing everywhere for the past few months, let's get into some smaller ones. The first one is the most popular. Vivzy underpays her animators. Now, to this day, I keep seeing people who work at Spindle Horse who say, no, we're paid enough. But this all started because one of the workers came out and said the working conditions were awful. Now, this could be true, but a lot of Spindle Horse employees have been saying that it's not, and the working conditions are fine. It's like 100 against 1, so. Another controversy that's pretty common in the Hazbin hotel community and the Helluva Boss one is underdeveloped females. A lot of the times in Vivziepop's shows, I don't know about zoophobia, usually the females in these shows have a boring and bland personality. Charlie is the hopeful dreamer who believes everybody can change. Vaggie is Charlie's strong but hot-headed girlfriend. Nifty is a stereotypical clean freak. Octavia is the princess of a geisha who has daddy issues. Luna's the goth. Millie is the strong female character who has a wimpy husband, yada yada yada, you get the drift. Don't get me wrong, there are female characters in these two shows that I believe have great personalities. Sally Mae, for example, I really like because she has more than just the, oh, I'm a strong farmer who's super tough. Same thing with Carmela Carmine. She's a overlord, but also a mom who wants to keep everyone she loves safe. They're both done in a really good way. And the reason why Vivzy said that characters like Millie are like underdeveloped or underappreciated in shows like Helluva Boss is because Helluva Boss is for the boys. Meaning Helluva Boss will focus more on the male characters, while Hazbin will focus more on the female characters. I really don't like this idea, but I can also smell bullshit from a mile away. We can tell who Vivziepop's favorite Hazbin characters are just because of their screen time. Yes, Charlie is the main character, but the focus is usually always on Angel, Alistair, or Husk. And if you notice, the male characters seem to have more personality and depth. People have called Vivzy sexist for having the male characters have more depth and have more personality and story, while the females don't have much. And I'm not gonna lie, I would like to see more female-orientated stories in both these shows. But even with the males, they all seem to fall into a category of personality that has been done to death. Alistair's the friendly fellow who has a dark backstory and not a lot of people trust. Angel Dust is the comic relief, but with a tragic backstory. Husk is a potential love interest for Angel, who is the grumpy one and has the traumatic backstory. Are you seeing a pattern? I get it. I also give my characters traumatic backstory and issues, but when it's done over and over again, it gets kind of old. People have been saying that the stories to both shows kinda suck. And even though I love both shows to death, I can kind of agree what these people are saying. I like the writing, but it can be better. People have mainly been saying that season 1 of Hazbin Hotel seemed very rushed and it wasn't handled the best. I agree with that, but I think that's mainly the fault of Amazon's 8-episode rule. But what about Helluva Boss? That's on YouTube. You can have episodes as long as you want and have as many as you want. Well, people have been saying that the dramatic shift in season 2 seemed rushed and forced. And you know what? I kind of agree with them. Apparently, everything is fine with Blitz and Stolas after Aussies. And Stolas is deeply in love with Blitz still, even after Blitz has shown himself to be very toxic. And Blitz is falling for Stolas, even though Stolas has shown himself to be a bit of a hypocrite. The writing could use some work, but I still really loved the show. Now let's talk about the big stuff. Again, trigger warning for this section of the video, it's about to get really serious. So, Poison. Angel Dust's big song. I love this song, it's a bop, it's really fun to dance to, but it's also a really messed up song. You notice how the animation and storyboard art looks really good? Well, that's because the storyboard art was made by someone named Raphielle, who is not a good guy. Raphielle apparently has a fetish for SA. That's right, everybody. The scene of Angel Dust being used against his will, that was done by someone who thought that type of stuff is hot. In response of people not being a fan of this, Vivz replied with saying, "Hey, this guy's a victim. This is how he copes." Even though that Raphielle has said that, no, he's not a victim, he just finds this sort of stuff hot. After many tried to explain to Vivz that, no, he's not a victim, and this is wrong to have him on your team, Vivziepop kinda threw a tantrum, saying that it's not hurting anyone, so why should anyone care? Newsflash, finding that stuff hot and drawing stuff like that in a way that glorifies real situations like this can hurt people. And for the claims of it being a form of coping, if it is, it's not healthy. People have said even if Raphielle is a victim, this stuff is not a good coping mechanism. There are such things as good coping mechanisms and bad coping mechanisms. Good coping mechanisms could be eating your favorite snack and watching a few episodes of Bluey. Bad coping mechanisms is when you hurt yourself or other people. And if finding this sort of stuff hot and drawing stuff of it glorifying victims who have been through SA, that can be seen as a negative coping mechanism. But does Vivz care about that? No. It's her show. She can do what she wants. She can hire who she wants. Even though having someone work on your team who has this sort of fetish can severely mess up your work. But let's move on from that to something that's equally messed up. As we know, Angel Dust is the comic relief character who has a traumatic story. Whatever. Even though we're supposed to feel bad for Angel and everything that's happened to him, apparently we're not supposed to feel that way towards Sir Pinches. In one of the episodes, Charlie goes to heaven and she decides to tell everybody, hey, people can change, here's proof of it. There's a running gag in the episode where Sir Pinches is trying to hit on Cherry Bomb, but keeps failing, and ends up having to buy everybody drinks and buying them shots. This leads up to the big joke of the episode. Sir Pinchus asks Cherry if they want to have some adult time, and when Cherry says, why, Sir Pinchus responds with, because I'm going to do it with everybody. This leads to Sir Pinchus being forced against his will to do this stuff. Now, lots of people have pointed out this is hypocritical, since how are we supposed to feel bad for Angel and laugh at Sir Pinchus? Vivziepop has yet to respond to that question. And judging how she reacted from the last controversy, maybe that's for the best. But despite all of that, I still love the show. I separate the show from the creator. I think the only reason why I'm still followed to Vivziepop is for updates about these shows. I really do like the characters, and I love the animation. I think you should like whatever you want, just know that, hey, the creator may be a dick. And as long as you like it, that's fine. As long as you're not going out there and making insensitive art or making horrible comments or any of that. If you're just enjoying the show, then who cares? I love Angel to death. I even made a pin of him, for God's sakes. But I would never draw art of him being used against his will, and I would never glorify it. I like the characters in the show for just that, the characters in the show. But thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out me and the channel out a lot. And have a fabulous day.